Susan, 7 years old, still swings her golf club every morning, never backing down from a challenge. But when she decided to rediscover joy by remarrying, she found that saying, "I do at this age," is not just a sweet promise anymore. Remarrying after 60 is not like any marriage you had when you were younger. This is a time when you likely have stable finances, your own family, and even old wounds. In this video, we will explore 5 core truths that people often overlook until it is too late. You will also find the key to true happiness, one that goes beyond old patterns and constraints. Marrying after 60 is not like the romantic ties of youth. This is when you are financially secure, have built your own family, and carry the marks of time. In this video, we will uncover 5 essential truths many ignore until it is too late, while giving you the key to authentic happiness, rising above outdated frameworks and societal limits. If you are thinking about starting a new chapter in life, hit subscribe and turn on notifications now so you do not miss tips for remarrying smartly, safely, and fulfillingly. Now let us explore each truth together and make sure you say, "I do" with the most confidence. Truth 1. Financial realities change after 60. When you decide to remarry after 60, do not let love outweigh reason, because marriage at this stage is not just an emotional commitment, but also a complex financial contract. First, remarriage can directly affect your personal retirement funds, Social Security benefits, and survivor benefits. Many are shocked to learn that benefits they receive based on a former spouse's work record can be reduced or completely stopped as soon as they remarry. This is a critical factor if you depend on this income to maintain a stable lifestyle. Moreover, pension plans and annuities often come with strict conditions. Some policies only allow full benefits if you stay unmarried or require additional contributions if you marry. When 2 separate bank accounts are combined into shared assets, including real estate investments or even bad debts, state laws may decide how these are divided in a divorce or when one spouse passes away. This directly affects your children's inheritance. What you thought was clearly stated in your will might be adjusted under community property rules, leaving your children with less than you planned. Look at the case of James, 78 years old, who after losing his wife remarried only to realize his new spouse had legal rights to the estate he left behind. This caused his children to face a reduced inheritance. He had to restart the estate planning process, including revising his will, setting up trusts, and consulting directly with a financial advisor and an estate planning lawyer. These seemingly dull conversations became a shield protecting the future for both him and his loved ones. Before saying, "I do" again, take time to meet with experts from investment advisors and retirement planners to estate lawyers to fully understand the financial consequences, social benefits, and asset distribution options you have. Careful preparation not only gives you peace of mind, but also ensures your new marriage does not accidentally become a financial burden for your family. Truth. Family relationships can get complicated. Remarrying after 60 is not just about 2 hearts coming together. It is about blending life stories, values shaped over decades, and the unspoken expectations of both families. According to family systems theory, each person is an inseparable part of a network of relationships. When you expand that network with a new marriage, you are rebalancing a system that has been stable for years. Adult children with emotional bonds built since childhood may feel conflicted. On one hand, they want their parent to be happy, but on the other, they hold deep loyalty to memories of the first spouse. Developmental psychology studies suggest that in late adulthood, the need for rooted security becomes stronger. When you remarry, your children and grandchildren may experience reactions ranging from eager curiosity to feelings of being left behind, worrying about changes to family traditions, or even doubting the inheritance plan. For instance, the first holiday hosted in a new home can signal whether long-standing cultural values will continue or end, causing some to fall into an unconscious defensive state. Not only the emotions of children, but also invisible habits, family rituals like Sunday dinners, birthday gatherings, or holiday customs need time and sincerity to adapt. Interestingly, the emotional regulation model shows that when emotional unease arises, an open conversation, active listening, and ensuring everyone has a safe space to share their concerns can effectively reduce conflict. On the other hand, inheritance disputes, though never the centerpiece of new love, are decisive. When state laws apply rules about community property or separate property, A will drafted earlier can easily be altered, causing children to feel anxious and worried. Take the case of Mary Thompson, 68, a widow living on California's coast. After over a decade devoted to charity work and outings with her grandchildren, Mary decided to open her heart and remarry John, her former Red Cross colleague. When she shared the happy news, her children were, shocked not because they were happy for her, but because they feared the Thanksgiving and Christmas gatherings they had cherished for years would change since John lived in another state with his own traditions. More than that, in their hearts they wondered, will our parents' inheritance stay intact? Though Mary always affirmed that love was not an investment, conversations about wills and financial plans still grew tense. To keep the peace, Mary invited her whole family to sit down and clarify what would not change. The Christmas table would still gather at the old house, and the will would protect all her children's interests. So, what is the key here? It is patient listening, honest sharing, and respecting both memories and current values. Before you step into the aisle again, open dialogues with your children, and both families explain why you need a companion, reassure them about what will not change, and slowly build new shared rituals with all members. When the entire family system feels consulted and valued, you not only bring joy to yourself, but also nurture trust and connection, creating a new home that harmonizes the past and future. Truth 3. Emotional expectations differ at this life stage. When you decide to enter a second marriage, you are not scrambling to build a home from nothing. You are seeking a companion who can understand values forged over years, from how you start your mornings to your evening habits. Late life psychology research shows that what matters most now is a sense of inner security and the ability to nurture your individuality, even as two personal worlds begin to overlap. Yet those very habits are the biggest challenge. At 60, your daily routines, hobbies and ways of relieving stress have become part of your identity, a stable operating system. When you bring a new partner into that system, you will often need to adjust between two schedules, two communication styles, and two sets of personal boundaries. Without emotional regulation and boundary-setting skills honed through earlier life stages, conflicts can easily arise. Moreover, memories of a spouse who passed away or scars from a divorce do not simply vanish. Both of you carry decades of experiences, from expectations about care and understanding to ways of expressing affection that were set long ago. For example, William, 75, took nearly a year to realize that when his new wife Karen, a fiercely independent woman, after years of divorce needed more personal space than he thought. Through the thin process of co-regulation, adjusting emotions together, they gradually found a new rhythm, just connected enough, just free enough. Before deciding to remarry, ask yourself, what do I really need from a partner at this stage? How do I want to bond without losing my sense of self? Am I ready to harmonize two lifestyles deeply rooted in both me and my partner? The success of a second marriage does not lie in racing against the past or expecting the future, but in sincere emotional exchange and mutual understanding, the foundation for every lasting relationship. Truth 4. Legal considerations are more important than you think. Marriage after 60 is not just an emotional vow, but also a legal contract with significant consequences. First, you need to review your will and consider setting up a trust to ensure that your assets from your long-standing home to your investment portfolio are divided according to your wishes, rather than automatically becoming community property under many state laws. This is where the story of Margaret Davis, 72, from Lake Tahoe, becomes noteworthy. After years of loyalty to her first husband, she decided to remarry Thomas, an old friend from her book club. The joy had not yet fully settled when Margaret received a letter from a law office revealing that most of her assets had automatically become community property, alarming her children about their inheritance. Through this experience, Margaret quickly revised her will and set up a trust, skillfully protecting her children's rights while keeping transparency with her new partner. Next, you should not overlook healthcare decisions. Documents like an advance healthcare directive and a healthcare power of attorney specify who has the right to make decisions for you, from life-sustaining measures to pain management, avoiding painful situations where your new spouse and children disagree on treatment options. Finally, do not underestimate a prenuptial agreement. Though the name sounds formal, this document is a roadmap that clearly outlines how assets, debts, and mutual support responsibilities will be handled in the marriage. When Margaret and Thomas sat down with a lawyer to draft their prenup before the wedding, they not only protected their individual rights, but also built trust and transparency from the very first steps before saying, "I do one more time." Take time to meet with a lawyer specializing in estates and family law. Thorough preparation from adjusting your will, setting up trusts, drafting healthcare directives, to signing a prenup will let you rest easy, enjoying your new love without worrying about legal consequences. Ensuring your marriage after 60 is truly solid and fulfilling. Truth. 5. The definition of happiness changes with age. For years, you may have thought marriage was a sprint, buying a house, raising children, chasing career opportunities. Now, according to psychologist Laura Carstensen, people start to realize that race was only for the early steps. When you know your life is no longer endless, you stop chasing new experiences and focus on cherishing relationships that bring deep meaning. Think of the initial thrill when you moved into a new home or showed off your first family photo on the wall. Just a few months later, that excitement settled, giving way to a desire for stability and warmth. That is why psychology calls it hedonic adaptation. Humans quickly forget the new joys they gain. And so, lasting happiness does not lie in big events, like a grand second wedding, but in fostering peace, independence, and connection every day. Before exchanging rings with your new partner, pause for a moment and ask yourself, does this relationship feel like a true home, or is it just a temporary remedy for loneliness? If you still feel empty when alone, whether sitting with a book in the morning or watching the sunset in the evening, marriage cannot patch that emptiness completely. In reality, happiness after 60 is multifaceted for some. It is a calm, Sunday coffee alone for others. It is an intimate dinner at a table for two. Some find joy strolling through a garden each morning. Others long for weekend outings with their loved one. The secret lies in understanding what truly warms your heart. Then, choosing a partner who shares that beat or at least respects your space. When those values and rhythms blend, happiness does not just appear in dazzling moments, but weaves into all the most ordinary days. You see, remarrying after 60 is not about starting over. It is a chance to write a wiser, more intentional, and emotionally rich chapter. It is not driven by duty or societal pressure, but by a heartfelt choice, grounded in clarity, experience, and a desire to live fully in the time you have left. If these insights resonate, let me know, with a like or comment below. What is your biggest concern about remarrying at this stage? I would love to hear your story, sure. Do not forget to subscribe. We will explore practical yet rarely discussed topics from emotional health and later life relationships to living deeply slowly and true to yourself. See you in the next video.